Well, welcome to this special Let's Start Sports Talk. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me is members of the Netball Bermuda national team with the president, the coach, and captain and vice captain all joining. First of all, thank you very much for joining. I think it's very, very special that the accomplishment of what's been done over these last few years, and then ultimately getting to 20th in the world, has to be celebrated, because I really and truly believe that a lot of our sports, especially a sport like netball, is not celebrated when it needs to be celebrated, and it needs to be celebrated quite a bit. But on to the success story. Kamal, I'm going to start with you as the president. It's been a while since we competed internationally. It was some years ago. We had, did we have who we had down here? Canada and somebody else?
Yeah, Canada and the USA. But before that, we played in a series in the United States.
Yes,
It was in
yes,
2017.
right.
That's correct.
So it's been a while since we've had a senior team compete, but just through the fact that the administration has to look at so many different things, and one of the major problems is finance. But we'll get to that as well. But you mentioned to me it was strategically done to enter the tournament you entered. Why particularly that tournament? Um, and you saw you kind of reaped the rewards from it.
So basically, several conversations were had beforehand, and we were given the opportunity to participate in multiple tournaments. The fact that it was, us basically entering back into the national scene, it was important that we played competition where we was able to compete. And so in order for us to kind of get our feet wet, but still be able to compete on a level that didn't completely blow us out of the water. So we made sure that we selected a tournament that not only had competition where we were able to compete alongside and or vie for, bragging rights, versus just going for the larger tournaments. I don't fully understand the way the ranking system goes, but I do understand quite a bit of how it goes. And you are basically reshuffled after every single match. It's not like you play the entire series. It also basically, the point system is it weighs higher when you are able to beat teams that are on the ranking. So, and that tournament also allowed us at minimum 8 games. And it takes 8 matches in order for you to be considered a ranked team. You have to play 8 matches in a 2-year period. So for us to get 8 matches in one shot, it always seemed like the better option for us to take.
Yeah, and you acted as with in the coaching staff as well, with Tony Machette. Um, Tony, the conversation, I guess, with the executive and everybody in when it was decided this was the tournament you was going to enter. What was some of the conversation you had with with I guess Kamal as you two coaches, and with the executive about how you wanted to address attacking this tournament? Because obviously the principle is you want to play these 8 games and you want to get ranked, but you also want to do well.
Yeah. So basically, once we found out the teams that were going to be involved in the tournament, we did some homework, did some research, and we found that St. Martin was the highest ranking team that we were going to play against. And then also we knew that Canada, um, St. Stacia, as well as BVI, we knew they were in the tournament. So we did some homework, and we felt that this was a good tournament for us. Also did some studying. I studied some tapes and stuff. I had a feeling that Canada would be the most our stiffest competition. They had recently just played in Singapore, even though they didn't win any games, but they played in Singapore, so they were playing some really good netball at that time. But our aim was to go out there, do the best we can, and hopefully beat some of the ranked teams. And as you know, the results spoke for itself. We had a 6-2 record. We lost the 2 games against Canada, but surprisingly, we did really, really well against St. Martin. Who were the highest ranking team in that group. So I was very, very elated when we won that first game. Coach Mel can tell you that. We gave each other a hug because we knew that once we got that first victory, even though we came from behind, we knew that we automatically had some points because being St. Martin was ranked 25th in the world. We also try to pass that information on to the girls as well to let them know how important the victory was against St. Martin. As you said, we don't really know how the ranking structure works, but we knew that we'll pick up points and some considerable points against St. Martin.
Yeah. Kamal, obviously, you in turn has been involved in this sport for your entire lives, I must say. But just seeing how it all came together that first game, because like Tony mentioned, you guys were down, but the girls fought back and came back to win. So just the emotion of that first game. Can you explain how you felt and you sharing it with Tony?
Well, first of all, Tony and I have coached national teams from U16s together. We co-coached a U16 unit as well as a U21. And in all honesty, the results that we have seen with those particular teams have favored really well to begin with. Back when we competed in Barbados with the U16s, we placed like third in that tournament, the Jean Pierre tournament, and in the U21 Tri Series against USA and Canada, we won the entire series going undefeated. So we knew that we had some excellent talent here on the island. Obviously there will always be multiple things that will be said, but I think that the unit that we took really dug deep. They all played their roles, and when was asked upon came in, I was able to step up to the task. To be down and to just make the strategic adjustments in order for us to basically capitalize on the win, it was major. I think the girls were really, really shocked because Coach Michelle and I hugged each other and we were so excited, and they were like, those two, actually hugged and kissed each other on the cheek. It was so overwhelming, that they realized how elated both of us were, to have accomplished that. So
Yeah.
it was an amazing feeling, not just for us as coaches, but it was a great experience with the young ladies that were a part of the team, because they're the ones that putting in the work to make that happen.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go to that locker room talk now because I'm gonna go to the captain and the vice captain. Debray, obviously, a team is called together. Everybody's got to work hard. Everybody's got to pull together. Regardless, I mean, everyone knows you're all against each other in league play or whatever. But when it comes to representing Bermuda, how knit is the team? When you guys get together before you even once you heard, okay, we're going on tour, but everybody's got to fight for a spot. So what was that? What was that atmosphere like?
Well, in the beginning, the atmosphere was very standoffish, but not in a negative way. It was just we were all coming from different clubs. Not everyone knew each other as well. But as you saw from the beginning at the trials, as we went on, relationships started to build. People who didn't know much about each other started connecting, and it was really beautiful to see because in the end this is all about Bermuda and netball improving in Bermuda. So it was just like everyone put their clubs aside and was like, I'm doing this for my country, I'm doing it for the flag. So of course it's going to be that little talk of just like, oh, I'm from this team, I'm from that team, but in the end we knew that it's a team sport, and regardless of where we come from, we have to be together in order to make it to the finals.
Yeah, and obviously Keontae moved because she knows she's next. So when you're asked to be the vice captain of a team, a mixed team such as you had from Bermuda, but everybody from Bermuda, um, take us through what that means for you to be a leader of a team, a national team.
Sure. Well, first of all, it's an honor. It's to feel like the coaches have put that trust in you and believe that you can be an influential person within a team, someone to help, reach the goal that we're all trying to reach. It's a great compliment. So I thank the coaches for entrusting me and Debray to be in these roles. And sorry, what was the other part of the question?
No, just being a leader. Just being a leader. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think
So-
for me, I try to really just lead by example, like just make sure that I'm putting in the work and showing everybody else that I'm showing up and putting in the work that the coaches want expect from all of us.
yeah. Debray, were you guys surprised by that first victory? Or did you realize what was at stake with that first victory?
Yeah, so I understood what was at stake, but I knew he was gonna win because I was like, we have all these talented people. Even if we start a bit rough, I knew that we would bring it together in the end because, like I said, we have a lot of talented people. And whenever I speak of the team, I always say that the dream team because it's literally like perfect people in each position, like the top people in Bermuda, all on one team. So I was like, we have to do amazing, and we did. Even against Canada, it was improvement from the first game to the second game. So that's a win in my book because although we didn't get the result we wanted, you saw growth in a lot of people, and as long as we're growing, we're winning in my eyes. So I always knew we were going to win. I never doubted anyone. It was just a matter of how we were going to win.
Mm. Back to the coaches, a quick question, because obviously when you're making the changes in the game, you want to make sure that the tempo and the rhythm kind of stays the same, if not grows up. The people that kind of come off the bench for you, how was that? Was that the way you looked at it when you were selecting the team? Okay, this person can come in and give us energy at center. This person can come in and give us energy at goal defense. And you know what I mean? They might, we don't want to belittle anybody's talent, but they might not be as talented as the person starting, but they give you as much in that energy that kind of complements each other. Is that what you guys were looking for as a coaching staff?
Yeah.
Yeah. One good thing is that we had a lot of players that were versatile. So we knew that if they didn't fit in one area, then there's a possibility they could fit in another area. So we had, like I said, most of our players were versatile players, which was good for us. That way, if we needed to call upon a specific player for a specific position, then we knew that we had sufficient talent to fill that role.
Kamel, you were saying?
Yeah. So basically, for an example, we have both Keontae and Debray that play in the defensive role on their teams here in Bermuda. Both of them actually play goal defense, which is their position for the most part here in Bermuda. These ladies ended up playing at center and wing attack positions during that game. So the strategic move that happened that changed that entire game around was us going with a defensive unit from goalkeeper all the way down to goal attack. So once we got the ball into the shooter, and then we brought in, our impact shooter in Javania Trot, and who came in and just played her role really, really well. But we were able to pick up multiple interceptions because we had naturally defensive-minded players that were shifted into what people would normally call an attacking position, but they are defenders that can attack. What a lot of people don't realize is at the goal defense position, they're playing a defensive role and also the ability to carry the ball down the court in order to assist with attacking. So we went defensive, and that was the shift in the game.
Keontae, let me ask you, were you comfortable in changing positions? I know some people are set in their position and they do their best at that position, but when asked to do another job, they'll do it. But were you comfortable in just playing the roles as asked?
100%. I think if a netball coach tells me to play netball, I'm gonna play. That's really my mindset towards it. I'd love to play netball, and at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. I want to be the player that my coaches can call on to execute that plan. Yes, attacking is not my favorite thing to do, but it's a necessary part of the game. And if the coaches felt like I was the person to do that, I was always going to step up and do that for them.
What about you, Debray? Was that, I mean, Keontae explained it rather well that, you know, you're all versatile, but were you comfortable in doing the attacking job? Because I know you love to do the defensive job.
I definitely was. I wasn't expecting it. I don't want to say I was uncomfortable, but I just knew I had a job to do for my team. And it's funny because Shetty actually said to me, "You're the type of player where if I told you that you had to go shoot, you would go down there and shoot." So it's just like Hyuntae said, as long as I'm on the court playing netball, a sport that I love, it doesn't matter where exactly on the court I am. I'm just happy that I get to play for my country.
Mm, mm. Kamel, I asked you if we could do like a spotlight on each player, and where they, you know, revealed a lot of stuff about themselves. Um, when we put that out, how difficult was it to get the responses back, or what was the challenges like? Because I know some people don't like a lot of people knowing about their business, but hey, you know, when you're in the national squad, sometimes that's what you got to do. So what was that like?
Yeah, so some people, jumped on it one time. They were excited to be like, oh, wow, we're going to get some recognition. I'm going to get myself out there so that I can also get some recognition, because it's also about a little bit of self gratification, right? Sometimes when we're playing as a team, not all the time does everybody get the chance to stand out and be, the spotlight. So I think that it gave every single last player the opportunity to share a little bit about themselves, so that, I feel like you're a better received human being when people humanize you, right?
Mm,
They tend to think that people go out there and they're just robotic and they're just out there, just going through the motions. But these are people that have families, that have, significant others, that have jobs, that are way bigger than just the netball players that we see. So it's always going to be an important part for us at Netball Bermuda when we select individuals to be a part of our national teams and programs. It's more than just being a great player. It's about being a great human being. And
mm,
so I think that these ladies embody the fact that we want them to be ambassadors for netball. And I think that they basically can carry themselves and handle themselves in such a manner, even prior to leaving, and even returning. They were able to go to Northlands Primary, and I think we have another school on the cards where, it's important that Bermuda recognizes how much talent we have, not just netball players, but, they're really, really just great people.
mm. Debray, filling out that questionnaire, revealing a lot of stuff about yourself. It wasn't uncomfortable for you. You seem like a person that likes, people to know what I like to do, and this is who I am. Am I right?
Yes, definitely. I definitely showed my personality a bit within
Yeah.
my answers, but yes, like my mom said, it was very exciting to be out there in the news because you don't often see a lot about netball, and it also helped build the hype for us going on tour. And it was just nice for people to also feel special about themselves because a lot of people don't get the recognition that they deserve. So it was just really happy to see that everyone enjoyed their highlight.
Sure. What about you, Keontae? Was that a little bit of a challenge, or you're an open book?
I am not the same as Debray. I would say I'm more of a I don't know, an onion, I suppose.
Right.
um, uh, I think of like how Shrek described it. You got to peel back all the layers
Right.
to get everything out of me. But I mean, it's nice to see it all on paper, and I think I get worried that sometimes I talk like I say too much about myself, but I honestly people don't know anything about me, and sometimes I like that.
Right.
But it was nice, like it was really nice to hear like people reaching out to me after they saw the article and just saying like such nice things, and I didn't know that about you or things like that. That was really nice. It was
Yeah.
really nice.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Tony, you've
Yes.
been involved in many different sports, and one of the things when it comes to team sports is camaraderie and team bonding. Um, with this group of females, how difficult was it to make sure that that team bonding and that energy stayed how it had to stay for the entire training camp into the tournament, and then obviously once you started getting the results, and then to the end.
Yeah, well, basically, most of the players I knew as it was because Kamal and I had coached them at under 16 and under 21 level. So Keontae and Kazari were the only two players that I wasn't quite familiar with. The other 11 players I was quite familiar with because I, at some point in time in my netball career, I came across them. I coached six of them, and then at present, and then the other five I coached with Kamal with the under 21. So basically, it was like it wasn't a problem because they all respect each other and respect me as well. So it was just a matter of them trying to mold them to be the best players that they can be on tour.
Mm.
And it was a slight challenge. It wasn't too much of a challenge. It was a slight challenge, but we knew the players and we knew each player's capability. So it was just a matter of asking these players to give us the best they can, and and like you said, play wherever we asked them to play. Our practice matches helped to identify some areas that the players themselves didn't realize that they can play, which gave our Kamal and I confidence that that's why we put Keontae at wing attack, because if we had a practice match, one or two practice matches, and she shined in that position. You know what I mean? So we felt comfortable with the team that we had. Um, some people might say that's not the best team, but it's the best players that were available. And we made a good thing out of. I actually told Uncle Mal that we actually have the opportunity to mill the players the way we want them to mill, prior to leaving. And that's what we done. We asked the players to give the players a job to do, and they did the job.
Mm. Kamal, I want you to put your administrative hat on because obviously this is a big undertaking for um, Netball Bermuda at the national level, at any national level, whether it be under 16, under 21s, or the senior level. But what is possibly next on the horizon? I only say that because you probably have some people that did not make this team that are chomping at the bit to join the team, and then we have to look at the future, something that young people can aspire to. Do we have anything in the pipeline early next year or even next year that possibly people could strive towards trying to challenge for a spot in this team?
So there are some potentials that are going to be available. Because of us coming in at this ranking at 20, I'm sure we're going to get invites out the yin yang, to be honest, because everybody is going to want to try to play matches against us in order to boost their own ranking, to be honest, and to be
Mhm.
fair. For us, from an administrative point, it's important that no player becomes comfortable thinking that, they're automatically in. So the idea, we're in the debriefing phases within the administration, to try and see what worked well, what can we improve on, and those things. And next year we will be looking to have a retrial for persons that probably wasn't able to come and attend the trials, to see if they are of the standard to enter into the national program. Because when we started this back up, it wasn't just about getting a team together to go and participate in a tournament. It was about establishing our national program, a program that will be able to continuously operate. In order to operate, we need to make sure that we are checking certain boxes, making sure that we're doing things well, things that didn't go well, making sure that we're not doing those things again. So I would say that absolutely no one is secure to say, I know I'm going to have a spot. They're going to have to continuously work hard in order for them to be a part of the team. But as far as us looking at where we're going to participate, it will definitely be strategic. And I keep stating that because,
Mm.
while we are ranked 20th, we can't go out there thinking we've arrived, because I do believe we have a lot of work that needs to be done in order for us to be able to compete to truthfully compete with those that are top 20 in the world. So it will be for us to make sure that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot and that we participate in tournaments that are still going to help us to maintain our ranking, at least in this, around this area, and not taking undertaking anything that's going to, basically make us end up dropping our ranking drastically. Like I said, we came in ranked at 20th. Um, Canada and St. Martin were both ranked, and we basically catapulted ourselves above them. Canada's at 30th, and we're at 20th. So, like I said, it's about fully understanding the ranking system. And I do have, some friends. I've made some friends along the way, and they're helping me in order for me to go back to the administration and say these are the things we need to do. We shouldn't be doing this right now in order for us to stay in an area where we're looked at and respected, and also it opens up opportunities for our younger teams as well.
Mm. Tony, I want you would this question kind of is relevant when I look at netball globally. I see in England, Jamaica, New Zealand, Australia, they have 6 foot people in every position, and we know we're height challenged. We know that
Right.
there's no way getting around that. How do we manage the teams we face that when we get to if we get to that level, how do we manage that? Because you're talking 2 feet, maybe a foot and a half
Yeah.
difference already.
But to be fair, I'm sorry, notice for Michelle, we're not as short as we used to be.
That I know, but I'm still saying. But if you look at it, they're standing 6 feet and they put the wingspan up, their hands up. You know what I mean? We're not as short as we used to be, but we're still in the region of being short. Would you say?
Yeah. Yeah, we are vertically challenged. That's correct. But the best we can do to counter that is play to our advantage. Whatever strengths that we have, we need to bring them out. And our strength right now, we've got good ball handling skills. We got good speed with the ball, but the height is definitely a disadvantage to us. So unless we get our girls and our future girls to get involved with some tall guys and try to get some guys out there, we're always gonna be vertically challenged. But we just have to build on the strengths that we have and work on what works in our favor, and then just try to do the best we can in all the negative areas. In
Sure.
regards
Yeah. And to
Great.
be fair,
Good.
to be fair,
Mhm.
we strategically went about converting two naturally defensive players.
Mhm.
And I think this is important to note. Our starting goal shooter and first sub goal shooter were goalkeepers and goal defenses. So they trained through the entire summer. They were goalkeeper, goal defenses that had the ability to shoot. And I think it's important that people note that they went out there and they done an exceptional job.
Right.
It wasn't like they punched, below their weight. They punched far above their weight in
Mm.
comparison for being defenders that worked hard. They worked extra hard and were basically willing to do what the team needed and required. And both those young ladies are over 6 feet.
Oh, well. Oh, nice. Nice. Debray, let me ask you, what did you take from this whole campaign back to your club to try to encourage your teammates to kind of just improve just one notch?
Definitely what I took back is effort goes a long way. You don't always have to be the most talented or the best person, but if you show the coaches that you're coachable and you're willing to work and that you want to show the effort, then it goes a really long way. And to just not take everything to heart. If someone's trying to correct you or if someone's trying to do anything, it's just to help you and your game grow. So I've definitely spoke to them and just said, don't be afraid to try because you never know what can come of it, because at the end of the day, everyone who got selected for the team to go away, they showed up since day one at the trials, and they gave their all. They showed up constantly. If they didn't show up, they would come watch if they were sick, if they were injured. So everyone wanted this. So that's what I really took away. That effort goes a really long way.
Yeah. What about you, Keontae? What did you take back from the entire training camp right into the tournament that you took back to your club?
Yeah, for sure. The same kind of things. A lot of resilience, commitment, um, openness to just learning new things and learning new styles of play, and being open to how where you play on the court and the role that you play within the team. And just making sure that you're there to be a team player.
Mm, mm. Kamal, let me ask you, when coaching, obviously, when coaching club and coaching country, it's just a slight difference um, of sorts. But where do you get your ideas from as far as play? How do you want to play, especially from the back to the front? Because netball is such a fast game. Although you can't move when you have the ball, it's constantly going. Just where do you get those ideas from, and how do you implement them?
So basically, it's a lot of research, researching multiple different teams, looking at teams that probably basically have the same types of players that we have as
Mhm.
far as ability and height and things like that, as well as it's important to try and keep your knowledge base up, right? Make sure that you're also still coachable, because just because we are coaches doesn't mean that we've already arrived. So it's important that we continue our research in the things that we need to do. And while we accomplished a lot of things, I feel within myself there are so many things that I want to take the team even further that wasn't able to,
Right.
wasn't really able to do. And I'm not gonna, elaborate on that too much. But the time only warranted for us to do certain things because of the fact that we were trying to get the players to learn the style of play that we wanted to play, making sure that there's always multiple options, making sure that we were driving to the bowl and things like that. We could get away with throwing long balls here in Bermuda because we're not competing against an entire team of naturally athletic people, people
Mhm.
that's going to come flying, from across the court and gobble up those balls. So,
Right.
also taking on the opportunities of doing different coaching courses for different sports as well. I've done football coaching courses. Coach Michelle and I have done the a high performance coaching course together, which talks about how you strategically work from, the date you want to be prepared. And so you work backwards on the things that you want to accomplish.
Mm.
So, I take the opportunity to always open myself to learning. And I don't always just use netball tactics. Having also played basketball, some of the things that I was requiring of the players were more like basketball related, specifically with the shooters, trying to make sure that they were teeing up and things
Mm.
like that. So, for me, like I said, as an individual, it's constantly opening up myself to learn and be open and willing to be able to try to do something differently than what people expect, netballers to just do.
Sure, sure, sure. Machette, is there a style of play? Is there like a Caribbean style of play, North America style of play, English style of play? Are there
Actually,
different styles of play?
yeah, I study a lot. I watched Australia, I watched New Zealand, I watched Jamaica, and I watched England as well. So we have a combination of style of play that we introduced into the team. But one thing I want to mention is that what also helped us in our preparation, we knew we had short players, and we knew we had it's going to be a little bit physical. So what helped us in our preparation is that we played a few practice matches against the guys. The
Mm.
guys were very athletic. They were tall. They were jumping out of nowhere, which really helped prepare our girls for what to expect. Because as we said before, we are relatively challenged, And playing against the guys, then playing against basketball players, it actually opened up our eyes as to the type of competition that we'll be up against with the tall players and the very athletic players. But yeah, so I want to give kudos to the guys for helping to prepare us for the tournament, which really gave us a true understanding of what we're going into based on the level of competition that we played.
Yeah, yeah. And it all looked like it came right together. Debray, let me ask you, well, obviously against Canada, you guys were down, but when you're in those periods where things are not going your way for maybe 5-10 minutes of a game, as a leader, what are you looking to do on the field or on the court to give the girls who are on the court as well as those off the court that confidence that you're still in it? Don't look at the scoreboard.
Just reminding them that at the end of the day, it's anyone's game. It can change quickly. You can, just as quick as you can go up by 10, you can be down by like 15. That's just how netball works, because if you give away multiple center passes, then they're right back up there with you because each team alternates. So if they're scoring on their center passes and then they go ahead and score on your center passes, then just like that, they're back in the game. So me personally, I have an eye out because you can see body language when someone's a bit harder on themselves. So just positive reinforcement, just saying you're doing a good job, dig deep, stuff like that goes a long way for everyone. So just reminding them that it's anyone's game. The game's not done until the final whistle. So let's just like give it all we've got and go from there. So definitely giving positive feedback and just reminding people that the game's not over and we have to just dig deep, because 50 minutes is a very long time.
Yeah, I watched a lot of it. Keontae, let me ask you, are you a vocal player or a more let me show you what needs to be done player?
I think that I shout on the court. Nobody seems to hear me when I do that. It's a lot of trying to step up to the plate myself, and then also maybe more getting people's attention so I can give them that specific feedback if I have it, or encouragement if I feel they might need it, just so they know that I'm there. I know that they know that I'm looking out for them and there for them, you know?
Yeah. Kamal, what type of players do you like? Do you like those vocal ones on the court, or do you like those ones who want to show you, listen, this is what we need, this is the energy we need, this is the fight we need? What type of player are you looking for?
I like them all. I think that that's what makes it exciting. I believe that if we had a team of all the same personalities, I don't think that we would be able to be as successful as we are. Some people, just because they're not as loud and vocal, doesn't mean that they're not understanding, and doesn't mean that they're not methodically trying to contemplate or plot exactly what it is they need to do, or what we should do to try and change something. And on the other hand, you have the other person that's extremely vocal, that gets behind their team, that kind of riles them up and things like that. Because some players, as you get to know them, some people like to be handled more aggressively. Some you have to handle them a little bit more passively. I think that it's imperative that players communicate to their coaches and coaches communicate to their players. How is it that you feel comfortable being approached? Because what we don't want to do is make anybody feel as if they're being like
Picked
attacked
on. Yes,
or
yes.
anything like that. I mean, sometimes depending on the personality, it happens, and but for me as a coach, I'm always going to do what I can, say what I can to try and get the best out of the player. Not all the time is it going to come over well with everyone, but I can tell you, from the bottom of my heart, when it comes to my players, I truly respect them, and I appreciate the fact of what they're doing and how they're working hard, not just for the team, but more so for Bermuda in overall.
Also, to add to that, Earl, as a
Sure.
coach, you should know the strengths and weaknesses of each one of your players. I mean, and you should know what can pull, and what to say and what not to say. For each, you need to know your players individually, one on one. And once you know that they're there, you can address them in certain ways And as Kamal said, you might be able to speak to one person one way, but you can't speak to another person the same way. So it's about knowing
Right.
your players and then what they can give and take.
Mm. Kamal, let me ask you this to end this segment. What do you want people of Bermuda to know about? And I keep saying it, Netball Bermuda, because you guys officially changed the name to Netball Bermuda. So what do you want people to know about, and to encourage more young ladies to get involved in the sport?
So Netball Bermuda and the rebranding was the start of what I'm going to call of what's to come. We rebranded in order for people to know that this sport is not just for women. This sport is for Bermuda as a whole. And the Olympics is calling netball's name. And in order for netball to be a part of the Olympics, there's many areas that have to be changed. Around the world, the sport is being played by both women and men, and
Hmm.
it is taking off. I've been on other shows, and Nick has stated when I was in school, the guys played netball as well, and every single male that comes down to that netball court that participates with us in the switch up, mix up, or anything like that, they got a
Hmm.
taste of how hard it is to be able to think and be athletic at the same time and execute something. It takes a special type of person. So the change from Netball Bermuda to getting our national team back out there, I just want you to sit back and wait because there's lots of things in store coming your way.
All right. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining this evening. We want to wish you all the best. We know we got the regular season still going on at Bernard Park on Saturdays. Um, so good luck in that. And we will stay in touch with what's coming on the horizon for the national team. And we'll bring that to Bermuda. How's that?
Absolutely. And Earl, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for taking the time to highlight our sport on a regular basis. I need you to understand that it's truly appreciated. And we can look back from years to come to be able to at least have some type of evidence of the things that we have accomplished over the years. So we appreciate you for that.
Not a problem at all. I enjoy doing it because I love to see people having fun doing sports. So keep up the good work, each and every one of you. Hopefully, I can get out there to see you at some point this season. I'm
Yeah,
hoping.
hopefully a lot of people could come out because we got a lot of fans and the netball court isn't going anywhere, so they can gladly come down and watch some good netball, especially if they like seeing the girls playing. We all
Mhm.
play for club teams, and you don't have to support a certain team. If you just love netball, you're more than welcome to come down to the court. Just love netball.
Can't beat that. That's a good way to end it. Enjoy your night, folks.
All right, thank you, Earl.
Okay.
I
All right.
always want to
Night.
put a plug in. Can I
All
put a
right.
plug in?
What's that?
No, I was saying I would like to put a plug in